Hey everybody, and on today's vlog, we are going to be playing Telestrations Upside Drawn by the OP Games. Let's get drawing. Hello, Sarah. How goes it?
I'm well.
So, what are we going to discuss today?
Today we are discussing Telestrations Upside Drawn, which is self-described as a side-splitting team sketch and guess game. We played this game with some of my family. They did not wish to be in the video though, so we are going to just talk about it after we played. What did you think of this one, Nick?
So, at first, I was never fond of the kind of like the older games that I grew up with family, but I was really enjoying this. This was a lot of fun. I definitely judged the book by its cover, and I should be ashamed because
it was a lot of fun, and I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, because this was definitely, even my my in-laws, Sarah's parents, were just like, oh well, this might be a flop, and then in less than
within I think 20 minutes, we had laughed harder than we've laughed in a very long time about anything.
Yeah.
Just because of this game and how silly and fun it was and how much fun we had with it. So.
And the individuals that were just a part of it too, just, whoever you play with, they just can add or subtract, but in this case, they added to the goofiness.
The fun and the silliness.
Yeah.
Would you like me to tell you how it plays?
Yeah.
Okay, so in Telestrations Upside Drawn, we are going to be, it's a team game. And we are attempting to get 20 points. First team to get 20 points wins. However, this is kind of one of those party style games where you can kind of play until you don't want to anymore. If you want to play to more than 20, you certainly can. If you want to play to less than 20, you certainly can. If you don't even want to keep track of your points, you can do that too. So there are points in there if there are people who really like to have like definitive winners and losers, but that's sort of an optional thing that you can play with that or not. So play to 20 points if you're playing with the points. Otherwise, play however you like. What happens is each team is going to get a whiteboard and a marker. And on the whiteboard, there are categories, which are also represented on this die right here. So there are persons, places, things, actions, and phrases. Plus there's a wild, which would allow players to choose. So what happens is you decide which side of cards you're going to use. They're double-sided, and you can decide which of these sides you'd like to use before playing. Then what happens is you draw a card. Let's pretend we're going to do the blue side. So we draw a card and we roll the dice. Okay, so we're going to do phrase. So whatever the phrase is on the blue side of this card, that's what we're going to be attempting to draw. Now, only the players who are going to be controlling the board get to actually look at the card. So on each team, there's one player who's going to control the board. They get to look at this card. So we're going to pretend that that's us and the viewers. So on this card, the phrase is making a scene. So the players who are responsible for moving the board are going to be attempting to get making a scene drawn on this board as much as they can. However, while they control the board, another player who does not know what we are attempting to draw controls the marker. So that might look something like if Nick did not know that we were attempting to make a scene, and I did, he would hold the marker, and I can only relate to him two things, either up or down. And that is going to tell him how to move the marker. So right now, the pen is in the up position. It's not, I can move this around all day and nothing's going to happen, right? So if I need to like reposition this in some way, then I can do that. The other thing I can do is to tell him down. If I say down, he just puts the marker down. That's it. That's all he does. And then he holds the marker still while I move the board, attempting to communicate with what we draw together, making a scene.
You should just try to draw a Karen.
A Karen, huh?
Yep.
Well, I've already got this box thing going on here. So if I was going to draw a Karen, I would try to give her some hair, right? And then let's say, ooh, a little hair in the face there. All right, up, down, up, down, up, down. I did not say up.
Sorry.
Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, and so it would continue until I have drawn something that hopefully signals to my team what it is that they're trying to guess. So if Karen was our clue here, hopefully that they would see this and say, oh, that looks like a woman screaming. Maybe it's a Karen. And they would say Karen, and then we would win that round, as long as we had said it before the other team said theirs.
Or if it was, yeah, if it was the person category and it was Karen. But in this case, it was making a scene. So if I was like, yelling, screaming, Sarah could say up and then put the marker, put my marker over the hot. So it just tells me that I'm getting closer to it, or over the cold.
So this side over here we hadn't talked about yet, but there are some hints that you can use. Now, the only words that I'm allowed to say as the player controlling the board here is up or down. However, communicating with up and down and having the board moved around and things like that, I can end up with the artist placing the marker on one of these hints over here. So that can give them a little bit of a hint as to whether or not they're hot or cold, if it sounds like something they just said, if they need to go broader, or if they need to go more narrow. So there are some hints that I can give people as well. Now, as we're playing the game, there are a few rules about what we can and cannot do. For example, like I said, the only thing that the person controlling the whiteboard is allowed to say is up or down. Additionally, we're not allowed to write letters or numbers. You cannot mark the number of letters in a word. You cannot do charades to try to help, and you can't look at the other team's drawing. You can.
But you can hear.
You can hear, yep. You can listen to the guesses that the other team makes. You can use symbols or draw arrows. You can draw lines kind of like you would do in Hangman, right? So like you can say like, okay, now obviously you have to work together with the player who's controlling the pen, but you'd say, okay, like here's 4. So hopefully that indicates to your team that there are 4 words in this phrase that you're trying to get them to guess. You can erase things. Now it doesn't exactly tell you how to erase. I think the player who controls the board also controls the eraser. And your team can ask you questions, but the only way you can communicate is by placing the marker on this side of the board here, or with the up and down. So that's the only way you can communicate. So the way that it works if you're going to be scoring the game is that the players who are controlling the board, they both look at this and it tells us which one we were going for, right? So this one was making a scene. Now, this number over here indicates not only the difficulty of this particular phrase we're attempting to get our teammates to guess, but also how many points a team will get when it's properly guessed. So in this case, whoever had guessed making a scene would get 3 points. And then we would move on to the next card. We'd erase our boards, we'd get a new card. New players would become the artist and the player who controls the board, which they call the guide. So new players would become the artist, new players would become the guide on each team. And then we would just continue. And you do that, like I said, kind of until you just want to stop, until you're done playing. Or if you're abiding by the win conditions set forth in the rules, then when one team reaches 20 points. And that is Telestrations Upside Drawn. Like we said, we played with my family and we weren't expecting much. This is not the kind of game that we really are attracted to most of the time. We like more
hobby games.
Yeah, more hobby games. We don't really like a lot of party games. And I am not particularly great at drawing, so I usually don't like games like this. But we actually had an absolute blast with it. It was so much fun. We laughed so hard and we had just the best time. And we didn't do it for long. I think we did it for less than an hour. But we had a lot of fun with it in that time. And it was, it kind of eased the tensions that sometimes rise up around the holidays, being with your family a lot, somebody won't quit talking politics, or you've all been cooped up inside for hours and hours and hours, that kind of thing. Sometimes it can get kind of tense around the house around the holidays, but this was absolutely like tension busting, like just fun infusing, and we had quite a bit of fun with it for the hour or so that we played it.
Yeah, you do need 4 players for this.
Yeah, so it's a base of 4 players, a minimum of 4. You've got to have at least 4 players to play this. And then it can go, theoretically, infinitely higher, as long as everybody can see, right? Because each team just needs 1 player to draw and 1 player to move the board, and then any number of guessers. However, they do recommend that the sort of cap on the player count is 12. But you do need a minimum of 4, so that it can be a little prohibitive, especially right now when we're not gathering very much. So it can be the player count can be a little prohibitive, but I would say for situations where people are looking for a good party game or a large group game, this is an excellent choice.
Yeah, especially if you're with your family right now. And for us, there's at times 3 to 5 people in the home. There's 5 that live here, but then sometimes we have a couple people that travel. But yeah, so this is a really good one, and it's just really goofy, and I could just see many people enjoying this game and having just a fun. And maybe you don't play it long, but at the same time, this is a nice palate cleanser or game just to really get a good laugh out of, because we seriously did
play with a higher player counts if you don't have a lot of time, or if you don't want to spend a lot of time explaining a lot of rules, you can basically teach players how to play in about 5 minutes, and everybody can enjoy it. And I think that this game is probably one of the funnest party games. Party games tend to be kind of light, and for what you get out of it, I think it's a really, really fun game. If you would like to win this game, we are doing a giveaway right now. It's called the 12 Days Giveaway, and every day starting on December 25th, which is just a few days from now, we are going to make a random drawing of 1 person per day for 12 days, from the 25th through January 5th, I believe it is. 6th. And
we'll put that link towards the end of the video. I will show the link to the video, and then also to even be eligible, you have to subscribe and comment on the video of what games.
Not on this video.
Not this video.
On the one that will be linked in this video. So Nick is going to put the links in the description below. Make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and that you comment on the linked video which of the games in that video you would like to win. And you could win one of 12 games.
With promos.
With tons of promos. I had been stockpiling a bunch of promos for a special project that was supposed to take place this year, but didn't because of COVID. So I was stockpiling tons of cool stuff for that. Because it didn't take place, we're going to go ahead and give away all of those promos, or a good chunk of those promos, in this giveaway as well. So each winner, and there will be 12 winners, each winner is going to win a copy of a game that we have played on the channel. We promise that these games are in excellent condition. They've been played a handful of times, and they just weren't games that we wanted to keep in our collection.
Because our collection is already pretty massive, if you can already see behind Sarah, and that's only half the room.
It's getting a little out of control. Up there we had 2 empty shelves left, and some of the recent acquisitions has just sort of been shoved up there, and it's getting out of hand. So we unfortunately can't keep every game we ever play, and so the 12 games that we are giving away are ones that we personally just didn't like enough to keep in our collection, but they're in excellent condition, and we'll be giving away Those 12 games, as well as tons and tons of promos, all you have to do to be eligible to win is subscribe to the channel and comment on the linked video. And this game is going to be one of the games that we are giving away. Now, I will tell you that if we had played this game before we announced the 12 days giveaway, we probably would not have included this one, just because I really actually enjoy this one quite a bit, and I think for a party game it's an excellent addition to our collection. However, since we already announced that giveaway and said that Upside Drawn was going to be one of the games we were giving away, we feel compelled to give it away. We want to keep our word. So this game is great. If you want a chance at winning it, do all the things.
Awesome. Well, that was Telestrations Upside Drawn by the OP Games, and we're glad you all joined us for this vlog, and we'll catch you next time.